Feel free to talk, people. You're live on the internet.
Oh.
Let's do it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hollow Knight Spoiler Log Double Anti-Bingo. I am Quacksilver, joined by Palm on the mic.
Yep, I'm Palm, and we'll be commentating. This is a Hollow Knight Dab tournament, or Double Anti-Bingo, as was mentioned. And they have complete access to the spoiler log, so unlike a lot of the randomizers you might see, we will have complete information on where every item is. And the two runners are going to be Mathulu and Jason.
Yeah, and so in just a minute, we're going to kick it over to a 10-minute period before the start of the race where both runners are going to get full access to the spoiler log. Hollow Knight Randomizer is hugely modular. It lets you randomize pretty much anything in the game, from the major story items, the Dreamers, down to Geo Rocks. We're playing on a default slate of settings that will randomize most skills, charms, movement abilities, that sort of thing.
So we'll be counting these guys down pretty soon. There will be a period at the start where they're going to be looking over the spoiler log. So as is standard in at least Hollow Knight Dab, we're going to give them 10 minutes to look over where each item is, write down whatever they want, choose which line to do. And we'll be doing the same. So we'll be looking over the spoiler log as well and telling you guys what we think. Also in chat, if it's not there yet, it should be there pretty soon. There's going to be a command. It's going to be !spoiler, and I think it just got added. So if you want to look at the spoiler log yourself, you can do !spoiler. It's a paste bin link, and feel free to look over whatever you want.
And so the way the double anti-bingo format itself works is in these first 10 minutes, in addition to planning out their route, the runners are going to choose which line on the board they want their opponent to do. And then when we go to the actual race, the runners will have to complete their assigned line as well as one line of their choosing. We inherited or stole this format from Super Metroid, which just went in Bingothon before us. So shout outs to the Super Metroid Dab runners. That was an awesome exhibition as well.
All right, so if we're ready, I think we can count them down. We're just getting readies from the runners to confirm that they're ready.
No, we're not ready at the moment.
We're not ready. Okay.
Yes. He just left the bingo sync room.
Say that again, sorry?
He left the bingo sync room. He must have disconnected by accident. We'll just let him reconnect.
That might have been a different one, because there's still one Jason on the bingo sync room.
Oh yeah, you might be right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
All right, we'll count them down at Mathulu, at Jason. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So they'll have 10 minutes, like we said. We're keeping a timer here. We're just going to be staring at these blank screens. Again, !spoiler in chat if you want to follow along with the spoiler log yourself.
Yeah. And so right away on the spoiler log, the thing to notice right away is you've got Green Path Stag at Fury of the Fallen and Claw, Mantis Claw at Green Path Stag. So right away the runners have vertical movement, which is sort of the holy grail for most Metroidvanias, I imagine, but especially Hollow Knight. Mantis Claw is just so overpowered.
Yeah, Mantis Claw is the item we're looking for, and for those who don't know, Fury of the Fallen and Hollow Knight is the very first check you can get to. It is about a minute into the run. It is actually in the same room that you see the runners start in here. So I have very little doubt that both of them are going to immediately go to that Green Path Stag and get Claw. The next thing they might be looking for is Wings or Dash. Both of those are a little more annoying to get. I think the easier wings would probably be Hidden Station Stag.
Yeah, geez, with Hidden Station Stag itself at 500 essence, so that's a little bit of a commitment as well. It is also worth noting, for our Bingothon exhibition, we do have a donation incentive between kill or bow to Mila. So at the end of the race, after the runners have completed their 2 lines, they're going to hop into voice chat with us, and we will let them know which incentive won. And the race will officially end once they have either killed or bowed to Mila.
Yeah, so this is obviously not normally what we do, but, you know, it's just fun to have a little bit of a incentive, I suppose. Yeah, looking at these items, Claw is like the easiest thing in the world. It's pretty rare you get this easy of a Claw. It's basically at Fury, more or less. But then Wings and Dash are both annoying to get to. The other thing about Wings at Hidden Station Stag is those items at Stags are cost Geo. So that Green Path Stag Claw is already cost 140 geo, and the Hidden Station Stag is another 300 geo. So geo routing tends to be a pretty difficult thing in these spoiler log tournaments, just because you know where every item is, so you're not picking up those random items along the way. Getting a lot of relics to sell to them, if you're familiar with Hollow Knight, that's how we usually get geo in Randomizer. So there might be some difficult routing depending on how much they actually have to buy here.
Yeah, although looking down at some of the easy geo, it looks like Salubra, who's an early shopkeeper, has a stockpile of free geo. So you're not going to be hurting for it too much early on this seed. But yeah, looking at the bingo board for a second. So defeat 2 dream bosses is one of the heaviest weighted goals in the Hollow Knight generator, and it's smack dab in the middle of the board. So we have a couple of options for rows that you could conceivably assign to people.
Yeah, so defeat 2 dream bosses is really likely that they'll put it in. I'm trying to see what else is annoying with that. Defeat Umu can be a little annoying. That would require Ismas or C-Dash, but I think both of those aren't too bad to get, especially compared to Dash and Wings. There's Obtained Shade Soul. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to highlight exactly that. Obtained Shade Soul, usually considered an all-right random goal, but all 3 copies of Vengeful Spirit are in kind of ugly locations. 15 Grubs, Great Slash, and Bretta. All of those represent a lot of legwork and needing multiple items to get access to.
Yeah, I think if I'm going for Shade Soul, it's Bretta and Great Slash, which isn't like, they'll probably get the movement required for that regardless, but Great Slash, for those who don't know, is very far to the left of the map, and Bretta is pretty, I don't know if it's pretty far down or left, but it's pretty annoying. It's out of the way. It's next to like no other checks. So even if it's not like difficult per se, it's definitely a long goal to get to.
Yeah. Some other highlights are we've got Troopmaster Grimm and Hive Knight on the board, both of which are gated behind single random checks. Tram Pass, which is required to get to the Hive, where Hive Knight is not too bad. That's at Leg Eater. It's another fairly early shop check. But Grim Child, which you need for the Troopmaster Grimm fight, is very out of the way at King's Idol Dung Defender, requiring vertical movement, a pretty annoying boss fight, and also requiring dive. So I would not be too surprised if we saw that forced.
Yeah, it's actually such a pain too, because the other claw location, and for those who don't know, we have duplicates just to make things easier. We have 2 claws, 2 wings, 4 dashes, etc. There's twice the normal progression items just to add a little more, spice into the routing. But the duplicate claw is at Defender's Crest, so if you're doing Dung Defender, you're getting another claw, which I'm sure isn't going to be your first claw, which is just a waste of a check, honestly.
Yeah, and we also have equip 5 charms at the same time. This is one of my favorite goals in Dab, not because it's necessarily super, super difficult, but just because there's an element of mental load. There is so much to track in the settings we're playing on, which are not the most out there settings for randomization. There are still almost 200 checks to sort through. And the need to find 5 different charms, you want 1-notch charms to be able to equip them as efficiently as possible. It forces your opponent to think a lot. And so I like it as a force.
Yep, it's another one of those goals where it's pretty easy in normal randomizer. And if you had infinite time to look at the spoiler log, it's probably not too bad in Dab either. But with the limited time they have, it's just very rare that people actually will find 5 1-notch charms that they can pick up along the way. Kill a King's Mold is also here, which is notoriously annoying. For Kill a King's Mold, you need 3 Dream Nails. I'm looking where those are now.
It's actually not too bad. It looks like there's 1 at False Knight and 2 in Waterways.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's nice that they're next to each other. Both those Waterways locations generally pretty annoying to get to, but the fact they're next to each other means you can get 3 Dream Nails pretty reasonably. False Knight Mullock's not too bad. Green Path Whispering Root can be annoying.
Yeah, getting to Queen's Gardens is a bit of a hike. There are a couple ways in, but the easiest by far is the Queen's Gardens Stag.
Yeah, that's at Wings, so that actually would be a pain.
Yeah, that's not too nice.
Yeah, I could see that. The issue is that's not with 2 Dream Bosses. I don't know what you'd put with Complete the Green Path Whispering Root. You could do row 5, but I feel like Shade Soul's not too brutal. It's bad, but not terrible,
Yeah, the other advantage of row 5 is just you're sending people to a large number of different locations. Gome Garpede takes you into Deep Nest. Tisa's Shield takes you all the way to the right of the map to Kingdom's Edge. Green Path takes you all the way to the left of the map.
Yeah, I actually like column 2 as well. Umu can be annoying, especially because with column 2, you're not giving them Shade Soul, so they don't have good damage to kill Umu, and they still have to. 2 Palor can be annoying, and Kill a King's Mold can be annoying. It might be better on a different randomized board. Again, the Dream Nails are not too bad, which you need 3 of for Kill a King's Mold.
Yeah,
I'm
and also the
curious-
Beast Den Trilobite has one of the remaining goals. Distant Village Stag is pretty inaccessible. I believe it was at 14 grubs, if I'm not mistaken.
14.
And so also unlikely that we see that, which means you're either walking through Dark Deep Nest out to get it, or you're getting the lantern from Rancid Egg Isma's Grove, which is not great.
Yeah, I'm just like looking at the spoiler log more. Like, I don't know what they're getting for dash or wings. It's actually deceptively difficult because the first thing you see is that easy claw, but where are they getting like Simple Key City dash? Maybe that seems like such a pain.
I mean, I'd much rather go to Simple Key City than try to go to Pale or Crystal Peak, even if you've got an early dive. Like, yeah, the dashes are out of the way. So
yeah, I don't know where else you go. Well, Simple Key City, you get dash. Deep Focus, you can't do without C dash. C dash, you want Rancid Egg near Quick Slash. You need oh, you can get Green Path Chest for C dash. We could see a Green Path Chest C dash. It's a little bit out of the way, but it'll be nice to have some horizontal movement. Plus, the C dash will help you with Deep Focus later to get wings if you want to do that.
Yeah, they're having 2 dream bosses in the center of the board is a powerful pull, but there are so many different things you could force. As we round the corner into kind of the last minute of planning here, Palm, what do you force? If looking at this, what would you force on your opponent?
I actually think I'd do. Why did you force this on me? Maybe top left, bottom right. It's defeat Umu, defeat 2 dream bosses, and obtain Shade Soul. It just seems like a difficult row. Maybe not specifically for this board, but it just seems hard at first glance.
Yeah, I'm looking at either that or row 3. I think needing to go to Deep Nest either in the dark or after a considerable detour is a pain.
Yeah, so looking at the Grub Song Elegy, by the way, we have only about 30 seconds left, and then the runners will be forced to choose the rows. Looking at Grub Song Elegy in the top left corner of the board, that is at Glowing Womb or Coliseum 1, but I don't think you're doing Coliseum 1. So that's kind of annoying to force. It's forcing C-Dash, which they're probably getting anyway.
I mean, we'll need to force C-Dash when Kill Mila wins the donation incentive.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, killing Mila does actually require C-Dash. Bowing does not.
All right, it looks like we
done.
Yeah, all right. So we've got Jason forced column 1 and Mathulu forced top left, bottom right. So, okay. So one of those, pretty much what we anticipated. Column 1 is an interesting force. There is that equip 5 charms at the same time, which is not fun, as well as needing to do that Dung Defender for Grimchild.
It looks like Jason started, which is not great. I did a countdown for being done with looking at the spoiler log. I think he took that as a countdown of going. So we're trying to get him back to the start if we possibly can. He's in VCB. Oh, we can't get in there. If someone wants to get in there and inform him that he should restart, that would be good.
In the meantime, is now a good time for a quick donation?
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, great. So we've got a $10 donation from MLECF without a comment. But I do notice that this donation went towards bowing to Mila, meaning that it is currently winning compared to kill Mila. So it's $20 for bowing and $15 for killing. How much more time do we have before we have to close the bid war?
We can just wait till the end.
All right, just signal to us when you want us to close it, and we shall. But in the meantime, everyone, get those donations in because the time is closing in. And thank you so much for your donation once again.
Yeah, all right. I as Palm counts the runners down for our proper start here, I want it known that I am actively pulling for Kill Mila at the end of this race. So I'm calling on everyone in chat to do their part here for COVID, but mostly so that Mila doesn't live through the next hour.
All right, it looks like they're both starting here, and we'll see them both start pretty synced up in King's Pass. King's Pass is the first thing they're going to do. As we said, we expect that they're going to get Fury. Fury is at the end of King's Pass, so what most runners will do is they'll walk out of King's Pass. There's a thing called a hard save, so they can go back, get Fury, quit out, or in this case, use Bench Warp, which is something we have just to make the run a little bit faster. I like Jason pausing at the floor he's already broken.
Good guy Jason taking the voluntary time loss to keep it fair.
He slashes something that should have already been, or he shouldn't have already broken as well. Oh, I love Jason. So what happened here is Jason started a little early, and he knows how many slashes that door takes. Anyway, you'll see them both go back to Fury. I'm sure they'll pick up Green Path Stag and ride to it at the first opportunity. You do need to be at a Stag station to ride to Green Path Stag, so we'll probably see them go through Crossroads and go immediately to that Stag once they get to Crossroads Stag. Jason taking a dunk in the spikes. What do you think they're doing after Green Path Stag? Do you think you go straight to City and take the long route to City storerooms?
Oh, and Jason did, because of that early warp, is going to not get the hard save, unfortunately. There's a small quality of life buff where if you do that King's Pass warp, you can warp back to the top of the staircase. But so we're going to see Jason really quick make up that time on walking back through King's Pass. Yeah, I think you go to storerooms here. I think, like, in the Hollow Knight any percent speedrun, right, you basically just get all of your movement right at the onset, and that is generally good theory for most speedruns, most randomizers, most everything. So I would be surprised if they put off dash for too long here.
Yeah, the only other storerooms that you'd want to go to, or the only other way to get to storerooms, easy way to get to storerooms at least, would be City Storeroom Stag, which again is at Deep Nest, and Deep Nest Stag is at 14 grubs, so that's not happening before right side city access at the very least.
All right, so Jason finally threw into Dirtmouth, Mathulu with a couple rooms of a lead time, but we will see if the line assignment makes a tremendous difference. I think there's not a whole lot of early goals like locationally assigned. There's visit 4 shops that got assigned, but even that requires like dash or wings to get down to Leg Eater, both of which are rather annoying to get a hold of.
Yeah, the big ones to be looking for here, I think, are defeat Troopmaster Grim, defeat Umu, slash the Beast and Trilobite. I wish I knew how to pronounce that. And defeat 2 Dream Bosses. Shade Soul's a bit annoying. 5 Charms, similarly, is annoying, but not, like, terribly difficult. So I think they're pretty even rows, actually. I don't know which I prefer.
All right, and there's our
claw there.
Yep, there's our first Mantis Claw. I'm probably also going to pick up the dive that's right here. Wouldn't be surprised if he continues down towards Massive Moss Charger to get Crystal Heart as well.
Yeah, so an easy dive there. And yeah, it does look like they're going to go to Green Path Chest. So this is one of the options. I don't think there's a better early horizontal. What you could do, of course, with Claw and Crystal Dash is you could go right to right side. You don't even have to shade skip. Claw and C-Dash is actually enough to get to Blue Lake through the shortcut. So I could see doing that for Dash first and then coming back for this. Wait, no, this is Crystal. What am I talking about? Yeah, they're going to Crystal Dash now. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the other way towards right side, if you were willing to do a dark room in Crystal Peaks, is dive alone. If you're willing to do a dark room, can get you to right side, but it is slower than getting Crystal Dash. And like we said, you're going to need Crystal Dash anyway, most likely. So might as well pick it up while you're in Green Path.
Yeah, it might be faster. I'm not sure, but it might be faster if you just solely want to dash to immediately go to Sea Peaks with dive. Even then, I'm not sure if that's faster. Plus, you're missing out on Crystal Heart, and you're definitely going to want Crystal Heart for later on anyway. Mathulu's going to
Yeah.
take this bench. This bench is pretty popular. What bench warp is, which we've mentioned but haven't really fully explained. The runners can teleport to any bench that they've already sat on. So you'll see them go around the map, like they sat on Green Path bench, they'll sat on this Stone Sanctuary bench. This Stone Sanctuary bench notoriously near a lot of random things that can actually be helpful later down the line. And it looks like Jason on the other screen is going to be doing the same thing, so Jason's going to be going, I assume, toward that Crystal Heart. I don't know why else he'd be going down here. So a similar route for both runners. At some point it will have to diverge, just because they have different goals. Notably, Mathulu has... he has to go to Beastan and he has to get Grimchild. Which I think, the more I look at that, I think Mathulu probably has the harder line here. I think Grimchild plus Beastan is probably more significant.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of agony just in having to get pulled in all those different directions. Grimchild is located below Dung Defender. So with that and Trilobite, I think we probably see Lantern. I feel like that's more economical than getting 14 grubs.
Yeah, the other option is just not getting Lantern and just doing Dark Deep Nest. I don't know how well they know it. I'm pretty sure Mathulu knows Dark Deep Nest fairly well. Just to explain what's happening here, the reason Mathulu is paused is, again, because Jason couldn't warp at the start through no fault of his own, just because he went early and I did a bad countdown and blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. So we're having Mathulu wait for 50 seconds just to make up that time difference. It takes about 50 seconds to go through King's Pass. And they'll probably be at almost the same spot with almost the same items.
Which sounds about right, given that there's not been a tremendous reason to diverge at this point in the game.
Yeah, I think this is a smart Crystal Heart. I think the Claw was obvious, and then Crystal Heart makes a lot of sense to get next. And they are in the same room, just at slightly different pogos, I think. Yeah, they're basically at the same point.
We have time for a quick donation.
Yeah, go for
Absolutely.
We got $25 from Serenity611 saying good luck, Mathulu and Jason. And their donation goes towards bowing. So currently not looking too hard for the killing. Currently a difference of $30. But you know, we still have time, right? So yeah,
Still got plenty of time. No goals on the board yet. I have faith. Thank you for the donation.
No rush.
It's also worth noting that the runners don't know which of the Mila incentives wins until they show up at the end. I'm pretty sure they are both also of the Save Mila persuasion, as we see Jason passing by Mila here. I'll come back here later. We just don't know to what end.
Yeah, and there's a few comments to make on the route here. So Mathulu continued to the Green Path Vessel Fragment to get a King's Idol. I don't know if that's because he didn't know what was there. He wanted the King's Idol for Geo. I assume he wanted it for Geo, and he'll also be picking up this Simple Key. Meanwhile, Jason got C-Dash, but didn't elect to go through the Blue Lake entrance to Right Side City, which you'd normally expect. He's going to go do the Dark Room anyway, just with C-Dash. So the options I gave, of course, were do the Dark Room or get C-Dash and go through Blue Lake, and Jason said, why not both?
At least we believe he's hunting for something in peaks, especially because going up here means that you're not going straight for the Dark Room. Jason is arguably the best routing brain in the Hollow Knight community. He's just on another level. Like, what he lacks in raw execution, he makes up for in crazy routing, and he's going right for deep focus wings.
Yeah, so this makes sense. Normally when you see something like Deep Focus, your brain automatically thinks, oh, Deep Focus is kind of a later goal, I want to get Dash first before I do that, but C-Dash Claw is the minimum requirement to get Deep Focus, and it's not terribly difficult to get to. This makes a lot of sense. The thing is, he'll have to come back out of this, so he should be second to Dash here, although Mathulu is doing a lot of stuff. He's doing King's Idol, Simple Key, and now he's shopping at Salubra, so he might still be first to Dash.
Nailmaster's Glory is one of those one-notch charms. If you got your eye on equip 5 charms at the same time, that's one of the easy ones. Some of the other one-notch charms are in much less kind locations.
Yeah, and it's worth noting there is a quality of life mod that makes it so for every X charms you actually get a charm notch for free. So I believe the first is either 5 or 6 charms, so he might be looking for that extra charm notch, along with charm notches that you can pick up along the way. So at the beginning of the game, you start with 3 charm notches in Hollow Knight, which means there is 0 way you can equip 5 charms. The absolute minimum you need is 5 charm notches, so he has to get there somehow.
And usually, for the 5 charms goal, you probably get 1 free one from Salubra, and you luck your way into finding one. There are 4 randomized on the map.
Yeah, again, that's one of those things where it's so much easier in normal rando where you just accidentally pick up a charm notch anyway. In this randomized version, you have to go for it. And by the way, Jason is actually going for this dash at Palor Peaks, which we completely disregarded.
Yep, Jason making me absolutely eat my words, although in a bit of a bind here. Yeah, gonna take an unfortunate death to those Crystal Hunters who are not kind.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But he, fortunately, in getting Clawdash Wings, has this alternate entrance into Crystal Peaks. The backup strats will prevail here.
Yeah.
And that's crazy that that's the first dash. And it looks like, even with the death, he may still end up getting it faster than Mathulu gets his dash, needing to walk all the way to the left side of City to get into storerooms.
Yep, I think without the death, this is definitely a faster dash. I think it's a faster dash either way, like you just said. But the thing is, Mathulu's going to have right side access here. So like we said with Bench Warp earlier, Mathulu's going to get some of these benches. He's going to be able to go to places like Kingdom's Edge, Royal Waterways, City Storms, all that stuff where Jason still has to make that journey. He has to cross Blue Lake at some point, which is going to take a little bit of time.
And Jason also, in getting killed there and respawning, warping back to Dirtmouth, is going to open the Dirtmouth Crystal Peak elevator, which at a minimum does require Claw C-Dash or Claw Wings. So who knows? Maybe it was just the absolutely million IQ death warp there. But Column 4 doesn't look too bad as a secondary row. Pale Lurker's annoying, especially when Vengeful Spirits are hard to come by. But like everything else on that does not look like too bad of a row.
I don't know. I'd almost argue that Column 4 does look annoying to me. I feel like check 3 different spell locations takes some time. Goman Garpede takes some time. I don't think any of it's like difficult or requires extra movement, but it seems like a long secondary row. It's just annoying.
That's fair. You could also be for row 3, but I don't love Slash the Beast End Trilobite. I suppose Jason is a much bigger fan of Deep Nest in the Dark than I am, so he could not be weighting that as heavily as I do.
Yeah.
Have to see if that is just like an incidental goal he picked up on the way, or if it's going to actually turn into something that he looks for in a line.
Yeah, row 3 looks so good until you look at the what they marked for the other runner. So like the only 2 annoying goals are Slash the Beast and Trilobite and defeat 2 Dream Bosses, but they're very annoying. Like it's almost not worth doing. I'd say it's not worth doing row 3 just because you have to do one of those extra goals.
Worth also noting, there are 3 Dream Bosses total in the game, so you have a small amount of choice in what Dream Bosses you go to. As Jason picks up his dash, Mathulu not going to be too far behind here.
Yeah, there's a very non-obvious secondary row. I actually have no idea what they do. There's nothing free here for sure. Maybe column 4. Maybe column 4 is the best one. It's annoying to me. Like I feel like they have to go to a lot of different places they wouldn't go anyway, but I don't see a better option.
Okay, that is a fair shake. There are 3 Dream Bosses in the base game. Expansions, which are included in the randomizer, added some more arcane Dream Bosses, but those are much more requirement intensive to unlock. I highly doubt we will see Great Prince Zote make an appearance in this dab.
Yeah, I don't know where the Dreamers are. You could almost argue that it's possible to see White Defender, but I have no idea where the Dreamers are. Also, that's a pain. The thing is, Jason did get D-Dark.
Dreamers are actually awful in this seed. There is 1 Dreamer at the Flower Quest, 1 Dreamer in its vanilla location, 1 Dreamer at 17 Grubs, and 1 Dreamer in Queen's Gardens.
Alright, I take it back then. No White Defender today.
No White Defender today. So, and Jason is rushing out to Shio as well. Gonna grab VS.
Mathulu's going to reset the room here. You can get to this with just Claw and C-Dash. It's annoying. Also, if these guys get in your way, it's extra annoying. Mathulu does not have a bench very close to here, and he is on 1 HP. There is a guy in this room, by the way. Okay, Mathulu knows it. He knows to heal. He's at 3 health. He should be fine to fight this guy. He takes 5 hits. And this should be Mathulu's dash here. So Mathulu is behind on getting dash, but again, he has access to a lot more of the map than Jason does, and you're going to see that pay off right now, as Jason is most likely right now being forced to go to right side anyway.
Yeah, Jason finally coming around to these shops. It doesn't look like... I wonder if he turns back around for Leg Eater here, I guess, because he's got all the movement necessary. It doesn't take too much to visit 4 shops. I wonder if he's getting that out of the way now, or going to come back down around for Leg Eater another time.
Yeah, I don't think it would matter if you go to Leg Eater now or later, right? Because Leg Eater doesn't have anything that's too important to you. Also worth noting, Jason did not pick up his Shade, so he could be hurting for Geo. Fortunately, as you said, when we were talking about the race beforehand, a lot of Geo at Salubra, so he probably doesn't need that Shade.
Yeah, meanwhile, Mathulu going to take advantage of the early relics that he picked up. Coming up on Lem here, our shopkeeper. Randomizer added a quality of life where you can sell all of your relics to Lem in one fell swoop, so it's not a noteworthy time loss to get money.
Oh, there's also Shaman and Sly, which is nice. Yeah, and something worth noting about selling to Lem from the right side. If you play Randomizer and speedrun the game, and you get used to selling to Lem on the right side, when you're speedrunning, you can't do that, because then you get a random dialogue box, and you hit yourself for wasting like 4 seconds on just talking to Lem.
It's true. The randomizer speedrun balance is a hard one to strike.
Alright, where's Jason going now? Because Jason is refusing to go to right. Does he have to go to right side at all? It's almost a given that you would have to go to right side at some point. Defeat 2 dream bosses. What does he do without right side access for 2 dream bosses?
You need to go to right side, if only briefly, to get down into the basin. Although I guess you could go through waterways if you really want to avoid going to right side. Could do Failed Champion and Lost Kin without ever setting foot in right side. And this is going to be the Moloch fight. If I'm not mistaken, Brooding Moloch had something. Yeah, there was a minion charm at Brooding Moloch. There's Glowing Womb there, but this could also just be for the goal. False Knight Brooding Moloch looking not unappealing.
Yeah, and Mathulu might actually be doing the same thing, because he's getting Dream Nails here, which you wouldn't expect him to get in Waterways. They're easier Dream Nails to get unless he was going for that Kill a King's Mole goal. So it's possible both of our runners are looking at that first row. Additionally, Mathulu did get a Simple Key, which I mentioned earlier, which seemed a little bit out of the way. It makes sense now that he's in Waterways, though. So that's 1 Simple Key toward Banish Marissa, which with 2 Simple Keys is not that bad.
Mathulu is also going to need that Simple Key because he does have to head back to Dung Defender at some point for Grimchild.
Yeah, he did use it to get to Waterways, so he might just be getting the 1, but he is halfway toward the 2 Simple Keys required for Banish Marissa. He's also going to Mila here. The classic Mass Shard. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that is, with Bretta, that's going to be the 2nd Vengeful Spirit. So Jason going to be, or rather Mathulu going to be popped up on damage. No, forgive me. Jason has 1 VS. Mathulu's going to get the other. So we're seeing a divergence, but both runners are going to get some damage. There are a lot of boss fights on this board. Finding your way to damage, not too bad.
Yeah, it's often something you'd rather do earlier as opposed to later. It's something that I've learned to route. Like, movement and damage, and even Geo, are things that you should do early. At least in Hollow Knight, I don't know how it would be in other games. I assume it's the same way. Just because if you have a boss fight and you have to get damage eventually, you might as well get it at the start. It's just going to save you time down the road.
Yep, and Jason there grabbing Grubberfly's Elegy from Glowing Womb. That is definitely the easier of the 2 locations, since the other one is at Colosseum.
Yeah, there's no way they're doing Colo for that. Maybe to flex, but no other good reason.
Hey folks, just wondering, do we have time for a couple donations?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a couple of ones, but that first one is really fun. We've got $15 from Readable. I really hope I did not butcher your name. Saying, Dearest Homothety, aka Moth, aka Randoman, I am writing to inform you of a glaring error in your randomization algorithm for the game Hollow Knight. Though I was assured that the item locations were random and indeed was swayed by your very name, there was not one, but two so-called vanilla locations. Please, I implore you, fix your game. Thank you so much for that $15 donation. And we actually do have another donation that Zonaris here is gonna read for us.
Well, I mean, there's not much to read because there's no comment, but we got a pretty amazing, generous $50 from Mike P. And with that, the balance between bowing and killing is kind of restored a bit because killing is now in the lead with $5.
Let's go. Thank you to Reddy and to Mike for those donations. Shout outs to Kill Mila. Also, shout outs to Homothety, who is the upkeeper, the creator of the Randomizer mod, and the subject of many a good copy pasta.
Yeah, that is a common copy pasta, as you might expect in Randomizer, and I have never heard it read better. So I'm very happy we got a reading of that donation.
Oh, thank you. And also, $500 hype!
Yeah, let's go.
Nice.
Oh, right. I didn't even notice that. Yeah. Hawk, guys. $500. That's amazing. Thank you all so much for your donations.
All right, so Jason sort of hiding a couple options. Could be looking at column 4 now. Could be looking at row 1. False Knight Moloch is a little bit more telling. He was kind of on the way in terms of opening the Dirtmouth Crystal Peak elevator. But it could be in one of any number of directions here, as it looked like he picked up a tram pass there from Leg Eater.
Worth noting, Mathulu is going for Dark Deep Nest here, so he doesn't want Lantern or the Beast Den stag, and he gets this first room done pretty well. There are 3 Dark Deep Nest rooms in a row. They probably, in terms of difficulty, this is probably the easiest. The one he's in right now is the hardest, and then you get to a relatively easy one again at the end. But this room has a bunch of sections you have to go up and a bunch of enemies that spawn. And if you don't know this room, you can waste so much time doing Dark Deep Nest. He's already fallen once. It's hard to tell, but he has to restart this room.
Yeah, and the really insidious thing about dark rooms in Hollow Knight is, in addition to being dark and hard to go through and often filled with spikes, hazard respawns when you fall into hazards don't function the same in dark rooms as they do in the same rooms when they are illuminated. Your hazard respawn is always at the very beginning of the room in a dark room, so if you fall once, you have to redo the entire room, no matter how much progress you have made.
Yeah, the reason for this is Team Cherry is trying to help you. They're saying if you're trying to do a dark room and you hit hazard respawns, they're kind of hinting maybe you should go back. But for us, if we're actually trying to do the dark room, it is very annoying.
Yeah, and Dark Deep Nest is the worst. It's infuriating, especially if you mess up with some of the flying enemies in the dark. But it looks like Mathulu making good progress as Jason flirting with death here on his way to Shade Soul at Breda.
Yeah, he's just going to play this safe. Mathulu also doing a strat to play the Dark Deep Nest safe. He set a Dream Gate down, so he made sure to get Dream Gate before doing Dark Deep Nest, which is really smart. So he sets a Dream Gate. For those who don't know, you can teleport back to a Dream Gate at any point. So if he dies in Dark Deep Nest, or if he gets to 1 health and wants to quit out, something like that, he can always just Dream Gate back. But he does get through Dark Deep Nest, and now is at this Distant Village stag. It's weird, because, like, it's almost more helpful for Jason to have had these goals, because the City Storeroom stag that Mathulu gets is pretty much useless to him. He already has access. He's already been to City Storerooms. If Jason had those goals, it would have made sense for him to do Dark Deep Nest, get that City Storeroom stag, and then get right side to City access that way. As is, he has to go through this Blue Lake to get to right side City. So this is what we saw Mathulu do earlier, And this is kind of the time penalty that Jason has to pay now for getting all his stuff in the sea peaks and being smarter than us.
Yep, and speaking of time penalties, Mathulu, not having gotten wings, is forced to sit on the trap bench and take this long cutscene. There's a dev-intended skip in the ceiling of that room that you can reach if you have wings, as well as the movement that Mathulu has, that it also puts you closer to the trilobite statue that is the goal he's looking for. But as it is, he'll have to go through all of Beast Den in order to get to that statue, essentially, which can be a pain.
And fight these with only base spells and no shaman. It's so annoying because Jason has all the stuff you'd want. You'd want wings, you'd want good damage to get through this. You'd want, like, actually to get the City Storm stack. It makes so much more sense for Jason to come here, but Cthulhu's the ones with the goal here.
Yeah. So thankfully for doing the Trilobite statue instead of going all the way to Hera, that's the only devout he's actually going to have to fight. The other is skippable. Still, it's just a lot of time that one pair of wings would get you out of.
Yeah, he was very close to death there. Fortunately, death will respawn you, I believe, at the beginning of Beast Den. It does in the vanilla game. Also, a Charm Notch here is quite good for Mathulu.
Yeah, as Jason takes an unfortunate death to Great Husk Sentries. So, a rather unfortunate, but thankfully not too time-consuming way to die.
Yeah, so they're cleaning up goals here. Jason finally going down toward waterways, it looks like. Or not waterways. No, he probably wants the first row goal. So he's probably going to get a bench around here just to save for Kill a King's Mold. He can also get to Hidden Station Stag, something Mathulu can't do currently. You do need Wings and Claw or to do an annoying Shade Skip to get there. Jason also getting Ismas here, which I guess is helpful, but with C-Dash not really required.
Yeah, what does Ismas portend any sort of goal? Not really. He's got C-Dash already for Umu, and there's nothing in any of his possible second lines that really need it. Just sort of nice to have.
Yeah, if he's doing Defeat Pale Lurker, there is an Ismas skip in Kingdom's Edge, which you can do with Dash Wings, and also Umu you can skip with Dash Wings. But given how easy that Ismas was, it might actually be faster just to pick up that Ismas, make Umu a little bit easier on yourself, make Kingdom's Edge a little bit easier on yourself. It was right there on his path.
And Jason also grabbing Kingsbrand here. Necessary for Get the Abyss Shriek check, but that is not in any of the lines that he is looking at here. So unless there's something juicy in Abyss that we've just overlooked, I'm not quite sure what this pickup is for.
Yeah, I don't even know what you want in Abyss at this point. He has Shade Soul. Like, if he's doing row 1, he has the damage for it. He has the movement for it. Unless there's, like, a really easy simple key?
Maybe, but yeah, like Shaman Stone and Unbreakable Strength were at Sly at the beginning of the game. It could just be doing column 3, and False Knight Brooding Moloch was sort of incidental. There was something at both False Knight and Brooding Moloch, so it's not impossible, but he just opted to do them for their rewards rather than for really eyeing the goal. I suppose he'd do column 3 in that case.
Yeah, but column 3 has SWAT Tiso's shield, so you're going, like, toward Pale Lurker anyway. It just feels to me like row 1 is better, unless he thinks the other simple key is bad. I suppose we should probably look up the 2 simple key locations.
Simple keys weren't too bad, if I recall. There was one at Gum Mask Shard, and yeah, one at Vessel Fragment Crossroads, which I suppose is much easier for Mathulu than for Jason, but there was another one at Thorns of Agony, so not too hard. Pretty close, even from the beginning of the game. Yeah,
those are pretty easy simple keys. So Banish Marissa shouldn't be too bad. Banish Marissa, for those who don't know, requires 2 simple keys and a Dream Nail. Mathulu finally getting his wings, maybe a little bit out of order. Might have been better for Mathulu to do this before going to Beast Den. But again, with 10 minutes to route, it's very hard to think of this stuff. We didn't even think of what to do past getting Claw. So
yeah, and it looks like this is going to be starting on those Dream Bosses from Jason. So Dream Bosses, you'll have to beat the base version of the boss as well. Because of the platforming before Broken Vessel is oftentimes considered to be harder than Lost Kin, because while you enter Dream fights with full health, you usually enter the Broken Vessel fight with 3 health. And unlike the vanilla game, you don't get a long cutscene to heal at the start of this, although Jason doing an admirable job of serving Broken Vessel pretty quickly there.
Yep, and Mathulu getting his Shade Soul, not on a row that he's required to do, probably not even on a row that he will do as a second row, but very helpful for defeat Troop Master Grim and just general fighting.
Yeah, I don't think you do any of the rows with Shade Soul as your second row if you're Mathulu.
Yeah, look at Shaman here. So, my guess is just it's for the damage. You can see how much work it's doing against Lostkin. Jason has a pretty good Lostkin fight, it looks like. The idea with this is to try and get double hits with Shade Soul, or he has D-Dark. So he's playing this very True Ending-esque, where he's just using Shade Soul. D-Dark also would be pretty effective against Lostkin here.
And as is customary, there is nothing quite so infuriating as when the boss simply walks or jumps into you. It's much harder to deal with than their actual attacks. Lostkin in particular has an annoying habit of staggering into you, but...
Oh, that's so bad.
Oh, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a really unlucky empty hop there. One of the attacks that Lostkin can do, which is similar to just walking into you, is just hop wherever he wants in the arena. So you're expecting him to jump on top of you. One of his attacks is jump on top of you and dive on top of you. So he dashes to the left, but Lostkin just randomly decided to go exactly there with an empty hop.
Yep, it's always the movement, never the actual attacks. And Mathulu, meanwhile, starting the Dung Defender fight to pick up his Grimchild. Looked like he did not get the first Scream skip. We'll see if he can't get the second here. Dung Defender has 2 health values, once at the start of the fight and once about halfway through, where he stun locks you while he screams and beats his chest, and if you can skip it, it's just free time save. You do that by taking damage in the middle of his scream animation. Several bosses have similar skips.
Jason's not looking too good here. There's been a few staggers that he hasn't taken the opportunity to heal. While Lostkin is staggered, he's one of the easier boss fights to heal off of, because you can just attack the little minions and get soul off them and heal. But Jason's not about that life. Okay, he'll heal once.
Got our safe heal. Don't want to take 2 deaths to Lostkin. Also, the longer the fight drags on, the more infuriating it is to die. Like, he does need this, but oh no.
Every nail slash was in the wrong direction. He barely missed that guy. He would have gotten a heal off as well. He would have been at 2 health, with close to done with this fight. But every time he dies, the boss health obviously does reset. This is his 3rd try at Lostkin. Here's Mathulu comes up to Grim.
Yep, Lostkin is a 1200 HP boss with Shaman VS. You're doing, with double hits, 80 damage, so 95 damage a rotation. It can be a drag, especially if you get 1,000 of that health down before taking a death.
Yeah, and I think both times he was around there. He did a lot of damage before both of his deaths.
And so, meanwhile, Mathulu on this Grim fight. Grim is a reasonably well-practiced boss in Randomizer because of the unique checks hiding behind only the Grim fight that no other combination of movement can get you to. So there's a lot of practice generally at doing Grim with far less equipment than Mathulu has.
Yeah, Grim not too difficult to avoid too. It's a slower paced fight than Lostkin, I think. I think you get probably more opportunities to heal too. Or at least easier opportunities to heal. Lostkin's probably faster, but more difficult, I'd say. This is looking good for Mathulu, though. Jason has taken quite a few deaths, but after this will be defeat Troop Master Grim, and that's kind of the difficult part of Mathulu's column. Kill 3 different Great Husk sentries should be a breeze. Equip 5 charms, you mentioned earlier, can be kind of a secret killer, so we'll see how prepared he is for those 5 charms. We know he has at least Nail Master's Glory, but that's only 1.
And the extra charm notch in Beastem was a very smart pickup. So with that, given that he bought Strength and Shaman, looks like he's got the 5 charms required for the extra free Salubra notch, so he is sitting at enough notches. He just needs 4 1-notch charms. For those of you unfamiliar, in Hollow Knight you can overcharm by forcing on a charm that takes you past your available max notches. You can get 1 extra charm on that way, so you only need 4 1-notch charms. Mathulu has, I believe, just the 1 right now.
And that's Grim from Mathulu. So he'll be able to mark that. It's going to be tough for Jason to come back, because even after this, he's going to have to do an additional Dream Boss and Umu. And then they'll probably be sharing, I would assume, row 1 for their extra row, which neither of them really have more progress toward. If anything, Mathulu has better progress toward it, because he already has 2 Dream Nails, plus, Banish Mercy requires 2 Simple Keys, which is marginally easier for Mathulu with City Storm's access, though it's probably pretty similar for both of them.
And Jason, warping out, not even going to stick around to collect the essence there, doesn't need it, already knows what's up. As opposed to some of the speedrun categories or splits in Randomizer, a boss is considered defeated for the purposes of goal as soon as you bring its health down to 0. So Jason knows that moment and hightails it out of there, not wanting to spend any more time on Lost Kin than he has already spent.
Yeah, and he's going to go straight to Failed Champ here. I'm surprised we don't wear Strength for Failed Champ. Failed Champ is pretty difficult to do with just Shade Soul D-Dark. The reason for that is you cannot get Soul off of Failed Champ like you can with pretty much every other boss in the game. Failed Champ is wearing armor, which, for whatever reason, means you don't get Soul when you hit him. So we will have exactly 3 spells, and then the rest of his health we will have to take down with nail hits alone. He's going to try to get D-Darks in. That's a really painful miss. I would actually die here. Like, intentionally die. If you're already at... Yeah, I think that's what he did. If you're already at 3 HP and you just entirely miss the first D-Dark, it's going to be a long first phase. It's probably faster just to come back, Dream Nail these guys, get full Soul, and try again.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Fail Champ has something on the order of 360 health in each of his armor phases. Maybe even more on the first one. Or no, that's his heads that behave differently. So 3 Descending Darks, where all of the things connect, brings you almost all the way there. In later phases, you'll see him aim for triple hits with Shade Soul, which if he gets 3 perfect triple hits, will knock False Knight right out, or Fail Champ right out. But Base Nail only does 5 damage, and Failed Champ does double damage to you. So if you're not very good with your spell aiming, this is a long and painful fight.
Yeah, and it sucks when he's in the corner like this too, because he can just keep attacking without having to jump first. For whatever reason, his AI forces him to jump first when he's attacking, unless he's in the corner, because he has nowhere to jump backwards to. Anyway, he'll get the first phase done. Common trick you do with Failed Champ here, you have to continually hit him. If you don't hit him for long enough, the game will assume that you've given up or something, and you'll have to redo the phase. So you'll see him hit occasionally in Dream Nail as well, Dream Nailing, getting that soul back. D-Dark's doing a good amount of damage here. We'll see if he can get a triple. I think that was only a double. I don't know how much more damage he has on this phase.
Yeah, it's looking like Jason does not run true ending there. Meanwhile, Mathulu catching up on these great Husk sentries. Relatively quiet from his side of the field.
Oh no, that's so bad.
Oh no.
Jason got ruined here. I wouldn't have even healed there. This is going to be harder with that heal, I think.
I mean, I would be afraid of doing it on 2 health.
Yeah, but now
get one shot.
It's just nail damage. He got 1 Shade Soul and the rest he's going to have to do with just base nail.
Oh, sometimes Fail Champ is a skill test, sometimes it's an endurance test. This is absolutely the latter.
Sometimes it's an RNG test. It's so hard to get him stuck on top of that door. You have to have such precise bad luck, and Jason found a way to do it.
And meanwhile, we're going to see this from Mathulu as well here. Mathulu quickly killing False Knight first. I forgot he hasn't even been to these parts yet. Oh no.
Yeah, Jason taking a lot of unfortunate deaths this run. I assume Mathulu actually won't do Fail Champ. I assume this is just for False Knight Brooding Malik. I don't see why he'd do 2 Dream Bosses.
That's a good point. He probably doesn't need to worry about that.
Yeah, I really think Jason would have had it too if it weren't for that. The fact that he could not kind of cheese that last phase. Oh, that's a bad start to D-Dark. For those who don't know, the sideways part of D-Dark, like the little white part that you actually would assume does less damage just based on the animation, is the thing that does the most damage, and the up spike does not do as much. So it's more important to hit that downward part than the upward part. That's a tidbit. I learned from Hamathity. I'm passing the knowledge on.
Yeah, Descending Dark also obviously famous for giving you a good chunk of iframes so that you can overlap bosses without getting absolutely obliterated by them. However, those iframes disappear as soon as you start to chain D-Darks together, and generally, against someone with a hitbox as big as failed champions, you have less time than you would like to get out of the way before you take a very massive hit.
Just kind of looking at the big picture here, back to the board, I think objectively, Jason probably still had the faster row, and he had the better routing. I think the dash and claw and wings that he got was very smart, but Mathulu made sure to pick a row for Jason that involved a lot of fighting. Kill 2 dream bosses, well, really just kill 2 dream bosses, is going to be difficult fights, and Jason definitely known more for his insane routing. So, I don't know. I think there might have been a purpose to what Mathulu chose. Mathulu probably known better for the boss fights, and Jason for the routing.
Absolutely. Mathulu is also a quickly ascending 112% speedrunner, so much more execution focused in his play, and has spent a lot of time in the very recent past doing essentially nothing but boss gauntlets. So also pretty smart from Jason to not force 2 dream bosses, something that Mathulu has had considerable practice on. Yeah. It just looks like Jason getting kind of bullied out here by the selection.
Yeah, I like the irony of saying Mathulu practiced in his technicality, and then of course, every time someone says that, you have to fall through every platform and hit the spikes and mount. So Mathulu's pretty close here. He's going to Moloch now, presumably. That'll be False Knight Moloch. Kill a King's Mold, he has either every Dream Knell for or 2. At the very least, he has the more difficult Dream Knells for. And he does have wings, so it's pretty easy for him to get to the White Palace to kill a King's Mold. Defeat Pale Lurker and Banish Marissa, gonna take a little bit of time, but it's pretty hard for Jason to catch back up here. He'd probably need some kind of error on Mathulu's end.
Yeah, he did grab a Pale Ore from Overgrown Mound. 2 Pale Ore is a goal on the board. I'd be surprised, though, if he was going for it. I'm assuming that's just a little bit of insurance against Pale Lurker. Though this is the Umu fight.
Yeah. This might be column 2. I don't know why else you'd do Umu. This is strange. It might be column 2. I feel like row 1 is just better. Where was Queen's Garden? We said Queen's Garden Stag was at a bunch of Essence, so if he's doing column 2, he's going to have to get to the Green Path Whispering route, which is very deep in Queen's Gardens, which he's made a little bit of progress toward just by going to Umu. You can continue past Umu, he could do QGA even, and go to Queen's Gardens that way.
He also, chat brings up an excellent point. Wraiths is a spell location. Could just be row 2 there, which with False Knight and Wraiths, yeah, that's much easier. The minion charms were not too bad this seed. That's so gonna get Umu. That's a very fast row pickup at this point. He's 1 spell location away. If he doesn't already have a minion charm, 1 was essentially free. You had Glowing Womb at Moloch.
He has Grimchild anyway, which he needed to get.
That is an excellent point. Grimchild is the most neglected of the minion charms, mostly because it has absolutely garbage aim.
Oh my god. I mean, it aims at the middle of them, I'm pretty sure, which is the issue. I think it's easier. Okay. Yeah, just get him right next to it. Don't give him the option to miss, just put him on top of the thing.
Oh boy. No, it's okay. Whenever you're ready. There we go. All right.
Mathulu positioning Grimchild, so Grimchild is just on the part of the Uma that actually dies, so Grimchild cannot miss.
For as garbage as that looked, that's harder than it looks. Grimchild is the least cooperative. And yet, when it's not a goal, when you're just like going through Fog Canyon and you forgot to unequip Grimchild, he suddenly turns into a master tactician and gets you blown up with alarming accuracy.
And yeah, this is definitely row 2. So I don't know why he got that Palor. I'm wondering if it was insurance, or what can happen a lot of times when you're looking at the spoiler log is you'll see, oh, okay, 2 Palors on the board. What's easy Palor? Okay, Mound. I need to remember Mound. And now when you're like an hour into the race, you don't want to go back to the spoiler log. You just remember, well, something's at map. Oh, and he checked a spell look. What am I talking about? There's a spell location there.
Yeah, he's got one more spell location to do.
Yeah, don't listen to me.
It looks like Battle Moss Prophet and then E-Dark or Nilla Dive. What else could he get? Kingsbrand wasn't too bad. I don't think he has a Wraiths. Yeah, no, so couldn't get Abyss Shriek, but it's like it's going to be D-Dark.
D-Dark, yeah.
D-Dark, and then route back around to the start of Crystal Peak to kill Myla.
Yeah, kill Myla 1. Well, I'm happy you're happy, Quack. I don't really have a horse.
For those of you who want to put the I love Mathulu. Those of you who want to put the nail in the coffin for Save Myla, we've got until Mathulu gets this spell location check to end the incentive there.
So yeah, I do like that he actually sets a Dreamgate. He knows he's gonna have to come back here anyway. Dreamgate just makes it faster. Also stares at Myla. So he doesn't have Lantern here. He will have to do another Dark Room, but he's clearly used to it if he can do Dark Deep Nest. And Jason still has a lot to do. He basically has a second road to do and Umu.
Yeah, he's like Moss Prophet isn't too bad. Abyss Shriek check is not too long, but there's just too much left to do.
Yeah, I really like the secondary rows, by the way. I was looking at row 1 for so long, but I think row 2 makes more sense for Mathulu, and column 3 makes more sense for Jason. SWAT Tiso is a little annoying, admittedly.
Yeah, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's a long time to set up, but...
Yeah, Goman Garpede wouldn't have been bad if Jason actually needed to go to Deep Nest. It seems so much better for Jason to have routed in Deep Nest, but Mathulu had that Trilobite goal, so Mathulu's the one that's going there. Also, Mathulu just breezing through the Dark Room. 112 runners. Where was Lantern? Waterways East. Yeah, that's annoying. And it looks like this channel is locked. So we're going to tell him that we're killing Myla. He should go there, and this race should be over momentarily. Where is Jason? I found Jason. Insane. Wait, didn't he set a Dream Gate? Does he not have any essence?
Probably not, no.
He's also never been to Resting Ground. He doesn't have an easy tree. So the Dream Gate, which looked like a great idea, really didn't do anything. But there's killing Myla. GG to Mathulu. We'll see if we can bring him in for a quick interview. I really like Jason's routing too. It's a shame. There's a lot of deaths on Jason's end. You hate to see it.
Oh no. Well, we have some excellent donations coming in. Maybe we'll try and put those to future races, but it looks like Myla was ultimately vanquished.
We'll see if we can get them in chat. We can let Jason finish if he wants to. It's up to him, but we'll see if we can get Mathulu in here at the very least. There's a Mathulu. GG.
GG.
Yeah. What was your thought with the second row? Because for a long time I thought you were doing row 1, and then I thought you were doing column 2, because I pay no attention to the board. And then chat was like, hey, he's probably doing row 2. And I'm like, oh, crazy.
Yeah, I had no idea what to do for my second row. Like, everything I looked at just had something bad. Like Hive Knight ruined column 5 and row 4. Row 1, it was going to be annoying to get to a Hidden Stag to kill the King's Mold, because you need like wings or the terrible shade skip, and hidden stag was at like 450 essence, so that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with column 2 because of that. Anything involving defeat 2 dream bosses, obviously I wasn't going to touch, so I kind of didn't have a lot of options in the end. I think like row 5 was also something I was considering, but the whispering route, it just takes an eternity, and I didn't look up where QG stag was, so I didn't actually.
Garbage. You don't want it.
Okay. Yeah, so the second choice really was kind of bad. Like, I think in that regard, like, it's probably easier for Jason to do a second row because defeat 2 dream bosses is already done. So it gives him like a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, having that at the center of the board was a long topic of conversation in the first 10 minutes. It looks like Jason tried to bait you a little bit by picking not 2 dream bosses, but then he had a rough time of dream bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I may have gotten the glitch where failed champ gets stuck in the wall.
Oh no.
So I died to failed champ on the 3rd cycle once, and that kind of threw me off a bit.
Oof, that hurts.
Yeah, I like just couldn't get soul for the 3rd cycle, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
I think you want to talk about your early game routing, Jason? Because that I think was really good.
Yeah, my early game routing was to get claw from green path, I believe it was, and dive from also green path.
Right.
And then take that into peaks to after getting C dash from massive boss charger. In order to get wings at deep focus and dash at crown, and also D-Dark at D-dash.
I see. That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, I didn't touch peak until the very end when I went to go check D-Dark for the 3rd spell location.
Where did you go for progression then?
So I did the same at the beginning. I got, claw and dive and C-dash, and then I went to right side with that. Since I needed to kill Dung Defender anyway. Then I went through Waterways, back into Fungal to get VS at Bretta, and then followed that into Deep Nest to do the Trilobite, because DV Stag was somewhere atrocious. 14 roads, yeah. Which is going to take a lot longer than just going through Deep Nest, so... Yeah, I definitely could have done that a little bit better.
Too bad, I think.
It's not like...
There was also a VS at 15, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I could have like tried to do that instead. I think I should have picked up Shade Soul from Shio before doing Beast Den, or Shade Cloak in Weaver's Den. I was kind of torn about whether to go into Weaver's Den because it had 2 dashes and a Wraiths, but I felt like I didn't really need Shade Cloak or Wraiths, so I just ended up skipping it. But then Beast Den was kind of a pain in. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I should have just gotten Shade Soul and Shaman Stone before I went to Beast Den.
Yeah,
it was cool seeing the route divergence at the beginning too.
I had a lot of time lost this race from just random deaths from being a bit out of practice, and also failed champ not being kind to me. Also, what should I be doing to Mila?
We are murdering her.
Murdering Mila. Yep. I kept like hoping for a random essence drop so I could use any of the dream gates I was playing, and I never got one.
Dream gate was so slick.
I was like, please, someone give me an essence drop. I would just want to use a single dream gate this seed, but no.
Rip. Did you not have time to like go get some essence from a dream tree or anything like that?
Like I probably could have, but nothing was like on my way at any point.
Yeah, makes sense.
That requires thinking ahead. That's impossible.
If I didn't, I guess I could have done like the Mantis Village route or something like that. That would have been smart. But oh well.
Yeah, and to clarify to you guys what happened at the beginning, because we clarified to chat, but that's more on me. I counted down after the 10 minutes, and then I said go for some reason, which was dumb. And then Jason started, and then I'm like, Jason, stop. And then I'm like, wait, can someone tell Jason to stop? So they did. So then you both started at the same time. But then when Jason tried to warp out of Fury, he warped back to King's Pass, because you can't warp. You can't use that hard lock after using it once.
Yeah, I did not realize that. Also,
Oh.
That's why we paused you for 50 seconds, Mathulu.
Okay,
I hope
yeah.
people appreciated my nail swings on open doors.
Yeah, the nail swings are so good.
Incredible. I thought you would just like restart the seed. I didn't realize you just walked back to KP start,
Yeah,
which is
I
really
probably
funny.
should have. I probably should have, but I didn't think about the open doors and the hard save.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
I mean, I probably shouldn't have said go. If we read this stupid countdown, it's 3, 2, 1, go. Well, don't, but done.
Yeah, I was like, wait, go? And then you were like, well, don't. I was like, okay, so I won't start yet. But I guess Jason just, as soon as he saw go, just went, which makes sense. Like, that's
It's on
Yeah.
me, it's on me.
It all evened out over the course of a couple of boss fights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it looks like I finished like 6 minutes behind Mathulu, and I think I died. My deaths took more than 6 minutes worth of time.
Quite possibly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think
There was a late
Did I
lost
die?
skin death as well. That was heartbreaking.
Oh no, that's rough. I feel like I took a death this year, but I don't actually remember where. What was your reasoning behind column 1, Jason? Was it the 5 charms? Because that
So
goal
my reasoning
for me.
was Grimchild was at Dung Defender, so that's kind
Yeah.
of annoying. That's
Yeah.
like about like 1.5 dream bosses worth of annoying, and then like then Trilobite is like another dream boss worth of annoying.
Yeah, I was considering giving you row 3 just for the Beast and Trilobite along with the
Yeah.
dream bosses, but I felt like I had to give you dream bosses, and I think like Umu's at least as annoying as like Dung Defender, but I ended up doing Umu anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely Dream Bosses was my bane this seed. I could not kill Dream Bosses for the life of me.
Yeah, I mean, like with dream bosses on the board, it's like first of all they're long fights. Damage wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't free. And then like they're really long to get to and they're very difficult. So like if you mess up, it can just spiral.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I also thought that like 5 charms at the same time was like vaguely annoying. I like had looked up where some 1-notch charms were, and they weren't like that nice. I found like 2 that were free and like another one that was like okay. So like
Yeah, I was worried about that goal because I didn't look up any of the 1-notch charms. I knew where Defender's Crest was because it's like a bingo goal on its own. So like the condensed log spits that out. But like very few others, like I guess Sportion's the same way, but like I just did a ton of checks. I was just like I'm just gonna find random charms, just gonna hope to get like some charm notches, and then it ended up working out. But yeah.
Cool. That was a cool race. I liked it. I really liked the difference in routing at the beginning too. The fact that we got 2 different rows is nice, 2 different secondary rows is nice. I feel like the seed was pretty cool too, because Claw was free, but then nothing else was.
Yeah,
So-
the dashes were quite annoying.
Yeah, I think that was a
thought
good one to watch.
I thought the Seapeaks route was actually like pretty easy for getting full movement. But
That's if you're intelligent, though.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to touch deep focus without dash. Like, or wing.
Mathulu, funny story. The reason why I opened the Dartmouth Crystal Peak elevator was not to get into Crystal Peak the first time. It was to get into Crystal Peak the second time after I died on the way to Crown.
Oh no. Yeah, like I feel like if I tried to go to Crystal Peak with just Claw C dash, I would not check deep focus. Like I wouldn't get there. But yeah. I don't know. I was pretty happy with like the routing I took, other than I should have gotten damage quicker. Like once I got my dash, I probably should have gone and grabbed Shade Soul right away and then gone Waterways, but I don't know. I got like all the relevant pinches I needed.
Yeah,
Guys-
and you had a nice start to this. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just to check currently, just to make sure we don't run out of time of scheduling. I think we'll soon need to close off. So I just wanted to ask to all of you guys, after this really fun race, what were your final, if you had any final thoughts you wanted to say while we still have that time. And then afterwards, we also got a few donations, a few spicy donations to read. But beforehand, I want to hear your thoughts a bit, like final thoughts.
Yeah, we can get wrapped up pretty soon. I guess my final thoughts are that I need to be better at boss fights.
Yeah, I'll say that, like, so Jason, you usually outroute me, so I have to hope that on the execution side I can pull it off, which ended up working here. But like, I'll say, like, just in general, this is a super fun format that I highly recommend people to try out. If you want to get into it, feel free to join the Hollow Knight Discord. We have a randomizer community that's pretty welcoming, and this format is definitely my favorite way to play the randomizer. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. I've had an hour and a half to spew my thoughts. I'm fine.
Yeah, just want to say thanks to Hamathity56, Sean PR, everyone behind Randomizer in general. I know there are probably names I'm forgetting. It's a long and storied history. And thanks to Bingothon for having us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, thank you so much indeed to all of you. Just before I go off, I just want to read a few donations that we've been receiving towards this end of run with this amazing bid war we've been having. It went really crazy. So first off, we had a $35 donation from Soctopus saying, "This is for Quacksilver!"
We've also got $10 here from Readable, saying smaller than 3, Quack and Mike.
Then we've got $6 from Manic Jamie saying, "Save Myla, no compromise." Well, we'll see how that worked out.
Yeah, that didn't quite work out.
But there was an attempt. We acknowledge that. And then we finally have a $5.50 donation from Cinder HCW. Their donation. So without a comment, thank you so much for all your donations, everyone. Zenaris, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
I just want to give a quick shout out to most of you are probably watching on the Speedruns Live channel, but we're also streaming on the Bingothon channel right now. There we host a lot of cool Bingothon or just bingo content in general. Just recently we had the Super Mario Sunshine bingo tournament there. And since, a lot of you here seem to be very into the Hollow Knight, just an offer here that if you ever want to do like a bingo tournament on Hollow Knight or so, hit up any of our organizers and we might get something on the Bingothon channel.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for the
Awesome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again, or in general, to Bingothon Winter. We're currently setting up for our next game, Banjo-Tooie. By the way, that was a pretty amazing Hollow Knight bingo, right? I'm pretty sure in chat, like most of you enjoyed. And there's just a little straggler donation that came in like kind of last second here. Got a $30 here from Quacksilver with the comment, paying forward the death of Myla into more excellent content. Honk. And I assume that refers to the Untitled Goose Game any % run incentive.
It does seem so, because I see that for this incentive, we're currently sitting at $40 out of 50, so just $10 left for the Untitled Goose Game 80% bonus run. Which is actually quite a special run, because Untitled Goose Game will actually happen as like a break run, if you will, between the Super Mario Sunshine Bingo League finale matches. And it's definitely an entertaining one at that. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. So hopefully we'll also get that incentive going. There's also one other bid war actually coming up later today, which is for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, specifically for the character file names. I see so far we've got 3 options. So definitely get those donations in for that.
And while we're at it, by the way, there's a lot of cool prizes you can win if you're donating. For example, you might have seen it on screen here already. We got some very cool perlers. We got a Link and Zelda perler and also a Cuphead perler. You can win those for a minimum donation of $15. If you're somebody who drinks a lot of coffee or tea, you might be able to win one of the Bingothon mugs for a minimum donation of $10. And if you are a fan of, of course it's kind of hard to tell if you're a fan because the game just released, but if you want to get your hands on Hyrule Warrior Age of Calamity, which is also one of our prizes, with a minimum donation of $20, you might get a chance to win that. Probably cool game. Have you played it already? I haven't.
I started playing it, only the first few hours, but it is fun. It is most definitely fun. And it's a prequel to Breath of the Wild, which is one of the best 2017 games. So definitely, I really hope it will live up to the hype, and I'm sure it will. And definitely, it's going to be a worthy prize for whoever is going to win it. But either way, I just want to say I'm proud of you all for making us reach more than $600 for Fred Hutch. It's barely has been more than 12 hours, like we're basically 14 hours into, or 15 hours almost into the marathon, and we're almost at 1,000, like, we're at 600, and it's absolutely amazing. You're bonkers. At this rate, let's see how far we can go. This is all going towards a great cause, and you all are amazing.
Well, talking about amazing things, how about you, of course, had this very great interview with Guppy from Fred Hutch earlier here on Bingothon. For all the people here in chat who are not super aware, would you like to say 1 or 2 words about what Fred Hutch is and what they're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So Fred Hutch is an organization that normally is focused on cancer research, but over the past year has been redirected a lot towards COVID-19 research. And it actually has been named the Coordinating Center for the COVID Vaccine Prevention Network back in July of 2020. And as you basically mentioned, we had an interview with one representative from this organization, and actually just posted the link down here in the chat. The interview we just had a few hours earlier. I definitely recommend you watch it, because it's very informative about the whole, about much more of the process that goes behind the COVID-19 vaccine research. And all those things that perhaps might not seem very obvious or seem kind of mysterious from the perspective of some of us who don't really have that much knowledge, that much scientific knowledge, and he explains it very well. So if you want to learn more about that, chances are your questions are answered in this.
Yep. Definitely a very informative interview. Definitely learned one or two things from that. But yeah, like I said, we're currently setting up the next game, Banjo-Tooie. I personally have, on big shame on me, but I never played Banjo-Tooie or Banjo-Kazooie. So, have you, Pika?
Oh, me neither.
They're pretty fan-beloved games, is from what I've gathered, but yeah, never really came around.
Oh yeah, I've definitely heard they're great games. I think that's what definitely can make. That's a good reason for us to be looking forward to it. And beyond the fact that the actual games themselves are really good, regarding this particular run, if I'm not mistaken, there's actually something quite special happening with this one, because it will be played both on the N64 version and the Xbox One version. So it's gonna be quite special to see, definitely in that regard.
Yeah, hopefully they go into a little bit of detail, what like the differences are, if there are any. That most certainly would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's not every day you see that kind of asymmetric kind of bingo gameplay, or in the context of a race at least. So that's definitely interesting to see how that's gonna turn out.
Yep, definitely. So, looking at the schedule, what are some of your favorite runs that are coming up during the week?
As someone who was involved during Bingothon Summer 2020, I have to say Otogi Myth of Demons because it's Otogi. But I won't unfortunately be able to watch it live because it's at a bad time for me. But I really do want to hear about it once I wake up. But otherwise, I mean, what other runs are there? Anything Zelda related, probably, but that's no surprise for anyone who knows me.
Yep, that's definitely not a surprise.
If I were to go with one last choice, probably the Wii series bingo. What about you?
I think I probably won't be able to catch it live, or at least not with my full attention. But I'd probably be most interested in the Lego Batman video game. Mostly because one of my friends, Loss, is participating in there. Yeah, he's the Lego Batman guy, kind of, sorta. And I would be looking forward to that quite a lot. But yeah, like I said, not sure how much I can catch. But they did something similar during summer, I believe. I think it was the same game even. I don't quite remember. But they did something and I was there as host and it was fabulous. It was pretty good. So it looks like we're almost ready to get the next game up. Sorting out just a few little things here on tech side, as we were just informed, I guess.
Yep, looks like it. I think we should be ready to start within basically a few seconds. So we'll let you guys just get
very
ready.
Optimistic. Let's say like 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah. Basically, get ready to get started with this amazing run that's just coming up now. We'll let you guys just chill back, relax, and get ready for Banjo-Tooie coming up right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna leave you to a little bit of chill music, and then in just a minute or maybe a little bit more, we'll be able to start the run. So, you know, hang tight, stay tuned, and Banjo-Tooie coming up in just a moment.